session, and our today's session is going to be very interesting and again engaging. So we will be able to collaborate on this session so that we can emphasize learning by doing. So in this session, we're going to learn about Google Forms. What are Google Forms? Google Forms are a digital way of collecting feedback from clients, collecting data from clients, or just a way of data collection by sending a survey to people to be able to fill. And then once they fill, you get the data to your Google Sheets. And then now you can use that data the way you want. So it's very useful when you are dealing with your clients or managing your business operations. You can use Google Sheets to collect feedback and so on, and even use it when you integrate Google Forms and Google Sheets. You can use it as you can use this as a simple uh, a simple system for your business. So you can use it to monitor stock. Like it can act like a point of sale. Once you sell products, you can be able to fill in the Google form, and then they will populate in your Google Sheet, and then maybe you automated Google Sheet, so it will pick everything and update so that you don't have to go and work with spreadsheets. So it updates until you have like entire workbook, or let's say you have entire workbook as an automated Google application. So it helps you in managing your stock for businesses and so on. That's what we are going to learn about Google Forms. And so Google Forms is useful for a survey. We can also use it for quizzes and also collect feedback. So it's good in digital communication. And then now in this session, our aim is to ensure that by the end of the session, learners will be able to create surveys using Google Forms, customize question types and sections, apply settings, confirmation message and quiz scoring. Will not be doing that because that's kind of advanced. View responses and link results to Google Sheets, will do that. Share forms via email, definitely will do that. So that's what we are going to learn in this. And we want to learn this with a case study so that we can be able to understand. However, there is a step-by-step guide on how one can be able to develop one. However, because of time, I will not be able to develop step by step, but I will show you hands-on on what we're supposed to do. Then later on, I'll give you permissions to also share your screen and develop a form so that we can be able to learn together. So these are the steps that you can use to create Google Forms. And so we'll be going to this an action plan so that you can be able to create. Yes, is there a question before we proceed? Or there's a message in the chat section? There's a message. Oh, thank you, Meshak. Thank you, Meshak. Okay. Now, Google Forms. So how do you get Google Forms? If you want to access Google Forms, the same way as the way we access other Google apps, so you come here to the Google App Launcher, go to Forms. You will see this icon. This will mean this is Forms. So you click on it. You will be able to see templates here that you can customize to suit your needs. Then, if these templates are not good enough for you, then you can develop one from blank. If you were having existing ones that you have already worked on, you will also see them down here. So you click on blank, then it will open a blank form. First thing first, provide a name to your form. So let's say, and again, it's good for you to just use a case study. For example, let's say we are collecting feedback about this session. Not this session, but the session that we've had so far. So we will have here feedback form as the title, feedback form for digital skills program. That's the title that will be shown on the form. This is the title. When you share, someone will be able to read before even reading through your document. Sorry. So this one usually picks automatic. If you provide here, it will automatically pick here. If you provide here, it will automatically pick here. So this is the title of your form. Then it is usually good to provide here a shorter description about what this form is about. So maybe, thank you for taking part. This can be like a description for taking part in the digital skills program. We value your feedback. Please take some minutes to give us your genuine response. So feedbacks are usually good in terms of improving maybe the program effectiveness of the program. So these things, you can still make them bold here. You can make them italic. If you want to underline, you can underline. If you want to, for example, you have some other things like you want to have a list of things that you do. Maybe a list of maybe the softwares we have covered. Maybe we can have, like for softwares that you have covered, you can have something like Sheets, Google Docs. Let me remove these dashes. So we have Sheets, we have covered Docs, we have covered Keep, we have covered Slides, we have covered, which one else have we covered? Is there any that I've left?
Calendar.
Calendar, another one.
Gmail.
Gmail, another one. I think there were just those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, now we're covering forms. So for example, now you have this and these ones. You don't want them to be underlined, so you'll underline by clicking on this. Will be underlined and underlined. Then you remove the italic. Then you can put this into bullet, you see, or you can put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So this is just a demonstration of what you can write under description. So we can make an bold, an underline, and so on, like that. Very important for you to know how to put description. It's good to put description to your form because someone will know what is this form collecting before even going to the form. Next is to put your first question. So your first question goes here. For example, my first question could be collecting information about full name. We must know who is filling this form. So I provide full name here. Automatically, it will give me multiple choice here. But here maybe for full name, I want a short answer. So you just click on the multiple choice there, and then you select short answer so that it can allow a short answer. A short answer will mean that it will not take paragraphs. For example, I'll show you in a demo in the preview. So for example, when we make, here is where we make this question required. Let's preview this form. When we preview this form, we'll be able to see this form how the way it looks like. When you see asterisk means that this question means that it's required. So you'll have to provide here the name. You'll provide here the name. For example, Emmanuel Madanga, something like that. And then now, for the short answer, you cannot press enter and accept paragraphs. You cannot add more paragraphs except one line. That's the difference between short answer and long answer. If I was to put here paragraph, that's what it means, long answer text. And now I go to my feedback preview. I'll just reload this. Let me reload this. So now this should allow me to put more than just one line, like that. So that's how, the difference between long answer and short answer. Okay. Now, that is how we create a full name. So full name should be a short answer so that someone does not provide very long information. That's how you put a first question. The second question can be gender. So when you click on here on add, this icon of plus shows that you want to add a question. So you click on the add, then here you will say gender. So gender is which type of a question? Is a categorical question. You see, this one is a text question. Gender is a categorical question. Why? Let's go to a Google document, docs.new. That's the shortcut that I usually use to access a new document, but you can use the other approach that we learned. So let's say here is where we are creating our feedback form. Feedback form. So suppose you are also collecting feedback, but now you don't have to struggle thinking of which question should you ask your people. Right now we have generative AI. You can embrace the role of generative AI in creating these feedbacks. So let's say you are using, we have different feedback forms, ways of different, not feedback form, but generative AIs. Let's use, we are using not Gemini, let's use something like DeepSeek. DeepSeek. So you will come and maybe log in. So you will log in. So once you log in, maybe you have interacted with it before, then you will put here a feedback form for digital skills program by Beyond Data ICT. And maybe here you can say, let's say you are prompting this is called prompt engineering. How do you want this thing to help you? You ask like you're talking to someone, kindly help me create a feedback form for this Beyond Data ICT feedback form questionnaire. You can add questions or questionnaire, and then you will do that. Another thing, you can tell it, act as a program manager or project coordinator and develop for me feedback form for this. So that's what we call prompt engineering. If you are learning about AI and generative AI. And then DeepSeek will take some time to compose and understand what you've just asked. And then it will generate for you which kind of questions should you ask about this program. Some questions might not be relevant to what you are looking for, so you might opt to not consider them. So let's start by adding a few because of time. So we have added the name, we have added the gender of the person. So gender, we said, is categorical. So how do you know that a question is categorical? So in just a minute, coming here. So in data, we'll talk about this when we come to data stories. In data, we have two broad types of data. Broad types of data. Data is either numerical or let's say categorical. Categorical data, numerical data, categorical data. This numerical data can be discrete data, or continuous. Continuous, and then Uh, Categorical data can be, this one we will learn in data, so don't worry about it. Nominal, 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 or ordinal, ordinal data. So don't worry about these stories, but it's good to know just this and this. So you need to know this and this for now, this and this, numerical data and categorical data. So discrete data is data that is of whole numbers. Whole numbers. That's discrete data. Data does not take between. Like there's no point something, point something. So that's discrete. Continuous is overall. It contains points. Categorical data is a data that is not numerical. Data that is not numerical. For example, name of a person. We can say it's categorical. Definitely, yeah. Like it's not a number. Something that is not a number is taken as categorical. Let's just take it like that for now, because we don't want to go into details much. And then if you have something like gender, gender is also categorical. Gender is categorical. Gender is categorical. So gender is categorical uh, in such a sense that when you have gender, you will have male, female. These are what we call categories. That's what we call categorical. Marital status also is categorical because you'll have single, divorced, and so on. However, when we go deeper into data, we will not consider full name of someone as a categorical data. We call it string. So we will come to that later, please. Now, let's go back to our form. So when we have a categorical data, we have some kind of measures that we need to use. That's why when we have this slide here, this slide tells us when you are creating a particular kind of questions, what should you use? If you are creating like select things to select, you can use, for example, for short answer, you can use name, email. Paragraph, feedback, like open-ended feedback and comments, you can use paragraph. Select one questions, you can use multiple choice. You can see. So something like gender is a select one. You see, if you have a very long list, you are not advised to use select one. For example, if I have something like counties, counties are categories, yes, but it's a very long list. For example, 47 counties of
Excuse
Kenya.
me, Manuel.
Yes.
Hello. We are not seeing your screen. Ama Dave Merudi.
Oh, so here you are not seeing my screen. Here, are you seeing my screen?
Apa iko sawa?
Here, are you seeing my screen?
Iko sawa?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So, as I was saying, for example, if you have like 47 counties of Kenya, let's use first thing is multiple choice. Let's use multiple choice here. Male, female. This is how you add. You just type here male. It will put some suggestions here, so you can just click on female and maybe prefer not to say. Or you can add also other. So other one is good to add this so that it will give space for someone to type the other type of gender. So this is what we call multiple choice. Let's preview and see how does it look like. So when you preview, this is how multiple choice looks like. Other gives you a permission to add something else that is not among the one that are categorized here. Let's switch from multiple choice to drop down. So drop down is good if you have a very long list that you don't want it to be shown like this one. Let's refresh this and see how does drop down look like. This is how the drop down looks like. So if you have a list of 47 counties, it's good for you to use drop down. So someone can choose whichever county they are coming from. So this is gender. So this is how the responses are going to look like. Now, so this one we can take it back to multiple because it is there are only 4 categories. It's acceptable. Then you can make this question required like this. So let's now follow on this Let's take the DeepSeek questions to our Word document and see if we will use some of them in creating this. So we will just copy this up to here. We will not put all these questions. We'll just copy this and come to this Word document here and paste these questions here. And you can see how they are looking like. So you will need to be creative while working with them so that it's not generic as such. Now, you'll need email address. So for email address, when you are collecting data, let's come here. So for email address, you can choose to allow the participants to add to type their email themselves, which in most cases some uh usually mess up with maybe the typos for emails. So in the Google Form settings, there's usually a way of automatically collecting emails. However, you can put here email so that people can know that you are collecting their emails. Email address. So when you put email address, automatically Google will suggest the corresponding type of choice. Let's say date of birth. You will see here it will change from multiple choice. Let's say date of birth. You can see here is already suggesting date of birth. And if let's say we create another question here, you can see automatically this is taken as a date. However, here is showing multiple choice, but you can see the response here is picking as a date. So date of birth should be date. If here is not date, ensure you just switch it to date so that you are safe. Then make it required if it is mandatory so that people can provide their date of birth. If it is not, here is how you can delete this question if you don't want it. Just click on the delete. So that's how you delete that. So let's put email address here. So this is how you can add an email address to the form. Then you can make it required so that people can type their email addresses here. So you can leave it as a short answer. Then once you have that, let's go and now go to these categories. Suppose someone now enroll, which digital skills did you attend? So someone, suppose now you are creating this kind of a question, you just copy the question like this. Which digital skills did you attend? Then come to your form here, form developer here, click on add question. You click on add question and then you paste. Control V to paste the question. Control V to paste the question. And then you can see already it is suggesting that this kind of a question should be a checkbox. This is a checkbox. This one is a checkbox. Why? Because someone could have attended maybe more than one program. So it gives you a checkbox for you to select from the one that are listed. So I'll copy this and come here. And I just come here to option 1. Paste. Control V. Paste. I have already pasted now this up to here. Then I can put other if someone did not, if someone had an extra digital skills program that he enrolled. Then I can make this required and I can choose this to change this to checkbox. See, by default it will live there, but the other side it will have changed. So that's how you can make it. And let's preview this kind of a question and see how does it look like. So we will see the difference between multiple choice and checkbox just now. So you can see multiple choice, the checkbox allows you to check more than one, while multiple choice, you can only select one. This kind of a question in programming or computer science or computer language or software development language, we call it, this one we call it a radio button. This one we call it a radio button because it allows you only to select one choice and not uh, everything, not as the way you have flexibility here on the checkboxes. So that's the difference between this and this. When developing questions, you need to note that. So this allows people to select more than one response. And this also usually alters the responses. Remember, automatically, when you start collecting feedbacks, Google usually has, it is inbuilt analytics or summary. So that helps you even analyze your data without going to analysis. So you need to be keen. When you do this thing will not be added out of 100. This will be above 100, because we can have someone who selected this and this, other one select this and this, and another one this and this, another one this and this. So the percentages will not sum to 100. For this one, the percentages will sum to 100 because there is a restriction that only one person can be able to select this. You cannot select this and select this at the same time. Hope we are noting that. So this one, you make it mandatory the way you want. And let me see if we have some space. There's no space. Okay. Now we have created that type of a question. Let's go and see if we have another type of a question. So we already have this. Uh, so the same thing. Now let's go to this one also. This one is, how would you rate the relevance of the course content to your learning goals? So this is a rating question. So a rating question, you can either use these things like good, excellent, or what. But in data, we usually need to go deeper in analysis. So we usually assign this to be 5 and assign this one to be 1. And maybe in between, this is very poor, poor, average, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we assign this to be 1 because it's the lowest, and then we assign this to be 5 as the highest. So that's what we usually do. Let's go to the form builder and you click on this add question. So when you click on the add question, I've not clicked, click on add question. It will bring you here. Just paste here your question. What would you rate the relevance of the course content to your learning goals? You will see this kind of a question. So when you come here, this one is a line scale. A line scale allows you to now someone choose between 1 and 5. If you need an exact value, then you can make it required. However, let's duplicate this question. Suppose we want to duplicate this question, like duplicate is to repeat the question. You can click on this icon to duplicate the question. You can see how now this question is looking like. But suppose we duplicate this question and change from line scale to rating. So rating will be in terms of stars and not uh, in terms of numbers. So it will be in stars. And then let's say we add another question. So you will see we have stars and still this meaning the same thing. So you can have a line scale where someone can be able to choose. Let's preview. You see, it's good to preview to see what the person will be seeing. So you can see this is how you will see. So when you are responding, you will select like this. So it will mean this now rating is, you can see now the rating is now taking this as 3. However, the line scale will pick a 1 value. So it will mean you are rating this as 3 and not as 3 star or 5 star or giving it 10 star, but giving you an exact value. When this also populates to your data, will populate as 3, as the same as this one. So we will just leave these two for the purposes of our own learning. However, we can switch this. I will see any kind of a question here that we can assign that. So for the learning materials, so let's take like this and replace it there so that we can have that as a different questions. So you just replace this, but this remains. So helpful and well organized. Maybe we say rate. Yeah, something like that. That's okay. So those are the type of questions that we have. Now let's go and add another type of question. You can see the types of questions. There are many in Google Forms. You can see here, all these are other types of questions that you can have in Google Forms. You can collect even time. You can be able to upload a file. So we have not used this. Let's say you upload a file. And then now for file, you have to enable uploads in the drive so that a drive can be created for all the responses. So you must click on continue here so that Google Form can link your form to the drive. When you are uploading a file or creating a question that requires people to upload things, here you will be required to specify the maximum size of a file. And here is where many people usually mess. If you leave it as 10 MB, no one will be able to upload a file that is more than 10 MB. It's usually good for you to give a higher value unless you don't want a very big document. You can now reduce the size. Number of files. If you expect like 5 photos, you need to change this to 5. Or if you expect 10 photos, you need to change that. And if you just expect one file, just allow it as one. Allow only specific file types. If you want to collect a particular type, let's say you only want to collect a PDF, or just want to collect a JPEG, you just want to collect PNG, or you just want to collect an Excel file, you can enable this and it will ask you to select which type of files do you want. If you want just a video alone, you have to tick, and this will only allow people to upload video. If it's a presentation, this will only allow people to upload PPT. This is risky. Unless people have already understood your question, is when they will be able to know. Maybe here we can say share your upload 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 your PPT or your slides. Upload your slides. So slides can be, so here this will mean that you are not collecting a link, you are collecting a document that needs to be attached and not a link. So you will enable this to make it mandatory if it is mandatory. If it's not, leave it as not mandatory. Okay, so this is the simplest form that you can have. However, let's add these other types of questions so that we can see how they work. Next question is, let's go to this. We have already used this, we have used all this up. Let's use this multiple choice grid. So multiple choice grid, what does it do? For instance, we are rate the following elements. Rate the following elements. So suppose we want to rate maybe 1 to 5. So the column side is going to stand for the numbers. Let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and here 5. So we will say 1 means poor and 5 means excellent, so that people can be able to understand and not misunderstand you. Then now here we start with the trainer or the facilitator. The trainer, you can have like you are rating the trainer, the content, uh, maybe if it is the venue, anything else that you can have that you want to rate out of 5. Rather than creating a lot of these type of questions, you can combine them like this, and we'll just preview in a few how these questions look like. Let's make it required and maybe duplicate this, but change now from this. You see now this how it's structured. We change this from multiple choice to checkbox. So this will be a checkbox and not a multiple choice. So let's preview again our form, colleagues. Let's preview again, just duplicating this and changing here. That's what I've just done to this other one. So let's preview this again and see how this question looks like. So this is our form: full name, gender, email, which digital skill program did you attend. These are a checkbox. Then this one is a line scale. This one is a rating. This one is an upload. You see, upload 1, supported file max 100 MB. Then someone can upload a file. This is now the one who is filling details to the form. Rate the following elements. Now someone can rate the following elements. If it's 5, it will be 5. If it is 3, it will be 3. If it is 3, it will be 3. Then now rate the following elements, but now this one is checkbox. Checkbox again, you understand checkbox. What does checkbox mean? Checkbox mean that you can check more than one. More than one. So this one is not commonly used. You can see the way I'm checking. This is not commonly used. This one is not commonly used. It's good to use this one. This one is not commonly used unless it is needed. It's good to use this one. You can see this one, you can check more than one. And then now someone can submit. So we have seen all types of questions that we can have on Google Forms. Before I proceed to some detailed detailed settings, like adding sections, adding an image, and all these other things, is there a question? I will give you time to develop this form collaboratively in just this session uh, that we have in the next 5 or 10 minutes. I'll give you to develop this form. So first I need to do this orientation so that all of us can be on the same page, so that we don't waste maybe a lot of time guiding step by step. So we'll do also step by step, but at least at a point of reference or understanding. Is there a question on any type of questions before we proceed to some other type of settings? Okay. Is there any type of a question?
Okay, Emmanuel, I have a question.
Yes.
What about if
Yes.
you are carrying out a survey,
Yeah.
but the data you need it to be maybe accumulating somewhere. For example, data you may collect leo inajiadd automatically for a given period of time. How do you go about that?
So, Meshach, I just want to understand your question. Where is that data coming from?
Okay, for example, you have developed maybe this kind of Google form for collecting maybe daily data, but you want this data collected from the same people ikiongezeka. For example, kama leo mtu alisema nilipata hii ama kama ni biashara ulisema tunaweza tumia maybe to track our businesses, maybe sales. Tuseme leo nimeuza hii, niliuza this, nilimeuza 150, jana niliuza 100. So nataka penye naipata ile 150 inajia na 100, ikijia na another 200, hivyo hivyo kama inajiongeza, so that at the end of the tracking unapata kama ime add something.
So, Meshach,
Mm.
so what
Yes.
I was talking to Susan before you I think you were on something. So I was telling her that we usually integrate Google Forms with Google Sheets. So Google Forms helps you get the data coming in. Once this data comes in, now in advanced topics of integrating the two, you now go to link to Google Sheets, and then now once you have Google Sheets, now you use formulas and functions in Google Sheets to populate things the way you want, to integrate these solutions the way you want. Remember, Google Form is linked to Google Sheet Direct, but now once the data comes to the Google Sheet, you are the one who can direct it to go to Sheet 5. Then now in Sheet 5, your function is speaking automatically. The formula is speaking automatically and calculating that this so and so ameongeza leo na it's adding up. So that one happens in the Google Sheet side once you have the submissions. So submissions zinakuja, zinaji-add automatic. So that is automation in Google Sheets. Sawa, Meshach? Meshach?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once you have your form, and then now you click on link to sheets, then it opens a Google Sheet. Now that Google Sheet that has been opened is the where now you start your work of automating. Once the responses come in, let the function filter and fetch the person. if you learn about in the coming month, when we will be learning about Excel, you learn some advanced functions, some little of advanced functions than the ones we learned in Google Sheets, so that you can see which other functions can you use. And now those functions will be useful for you to operate, like automate some work in Google Sheet and even in Excel. So that work comes in Google Sheets and not in Forms. Forms will help you get your data to Google Sheets. And now once you have your data in Google Sheets, now it's the response of the Google Sheet to pick the data from where it is populating, summing it up using functions and formulas. So such kind of solutions are usually developed for business solutions, as you just also indicated. Okay. Is there any other question? Any remarks, Susan? Susan, any remarks so far?
We are together. I'm learning.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, now we have learned about all the type of questions that we have in Google Sheets. Not Google Sheet, but Google Form. Now we want to learn about how can we have an image here. An image here. So you have to click on this. This is where we can set the theme. Like the theme is the color that we see here first. So you can change the color that you see here. You can see here is where you can change the color of your form, the design. The background, you can also change here the background color. But if you want to change this color of the header here, you can change the color there like that. You should also, but if you happen to upload a header, then it will do what? It will pick from the color that is coming in with the header. Yeah. So for you to design, is not every image that you need will be fitting here. You can see even from the templates the kind of images that are at the top. So you need to design, you can design that in Canva, you can design that in any other software that you can use to design your header. So the header size need to be this size. Let me just click this to show you. So you see this image. This image is the header. This image is the header for this case. So this is the size of the header image that you need. When you click on this icon, you will see this image is here. It was uploaded, but this is by default. So let's say we are saving this image and we need to upload it at our end. So I'll just save this image so that we can use it. This one is saving it as an entire. Let me see here if it will still do the same. If not, we'll just yeah, this one is still doing the same. So let's say, let me see if I can maybe see. So if you are interested in learning Canva, by the way, to do your designs, we are having a Canva class starting next month. So someone can be able to customize. You can customize the sizes of the things you want to do in Google Sheets. If you know the sizes of the header, you can provide here the sizes and automatically it will pick. Let's say we don't know the sizes, and imagine you are having you are living in generative AI world. So just ask here, what is the dimension? What is the dimension of Google Forms header image? Hivyo tu. Then DeepSeek will think of what you are doing, and then it will tell you the size is this. Now it is telling you this best responsive what, but just pick this 80 by 200. 80 by 200. So you just need to know what is minimum with it, what's the maximum, what's the height and what's the width it. 80 by 100. So 80 is the width it. So you will go to your Canva and put here 80, 800 by 200. 800 by 200. And let's click on create and see what is coming. If it will be that size. You can see that is the size we want for our banner. And then you can see even some previous designs are coming up. But let's just say we just want to, let me see if I have here. Yeah, let's say you have here beyond data logo. Put there. And then we have a class for graphic design. So if you want to learn graphic design with Canva, you can enroll. That is also starting up, but it's different hours from our class, different days. So you will be able to balance the two. So this is, you can put the phone number, contact information. I'm just putting some numbers anyway. And then website, let's say you have a website, beyond data ict.com, and someone can put maybe email address info at beyonddataict.com. Okay, so once you have this, you just click on share, download, then download as an image. Just download. So once you download this, you can give a name here at the top. You can give the name to your file here so that its name is good. Then once you have that, then now you can go back to your form. This is our form, is here, not here, is here our form. So our form is here, we need to upload that here. And you will see that this color will change automatically once we upload the header. So we'll click on choose the header, click on upload. However, you can see some other headers here to choose from. But if you have your own, go to upload, browse, and then click on this one. And then click on upload. So it will upload. And you can see, so you click on done. You see, it has uploaded our header. That's done. That's okay. We are done with putting a header here. So that's how you set your header at the top. So you can design your header the way you want. Next, we have looked at the header. Next is adding, if you have something like a title and description, like the one we have here, you can add also here, but you already have it. So you click this to add that. If you want to import questions from another form that you already had, you use this option. It will lead you to your previous forms. Which form do you want to pick some questions from? You can be able to do that to emulate. If you have an image that you want to insert that is not uh, of this size, like the image just you want to be maybe somewhere here, let's say here, just click on this add image, and you can choose image also from the web, or you can just upload it. So let's say Google Images, and maybe Google for digital skills, and you can have something like this. So let's say you click this digital literacy, you click insert. However, you need to ensure that the images that you're getting are, or you can copyright them by maybe tagging where you got them. And then now once you have these, if they're not yours, if you have this, you can give the title to the image. If not, you can still leave it like that. So this an image is different from this header image. So you need to know the difference. So this can be image of anything. Next is video. If you have a video that you want to add, it's also the same. You can put the YouTube link. So let's say we put here a link to, let's say we put here a link to our class. See, link to Okay, let me see here if I can get that. Okay. Okay, so let me just check that shortly and see. I'm in the wrong. Okay. Uh, let's say we have this here. So we'll just pick this, copy, and then we'll put this here. Oh, there's an extra space. So this is the video we want to link from YouTube. You just click on that and then insert. And so you'll have your video playing here in the form. If that's what you want. And that is it. So you'll have a video, you'll have image. So we are just using it for learning, but not that you put all these things to your form, guys. We are just doing this to learn. So you don't have to put all these things to your form. Don't put all these things to your form. Let me close this. Let me also close this. Okay, so let's say we refresh this, our preview. We have not yet published our form, but we are just refreshing this to see how does it look like. Now, first you will see this header image, and then you will see now this title and description. Next, you are going to see this image that we just added and the YouTube video that we just added as well. For today's session, we're going to talk about, and then full name, so on. Now you can proceed as usual. Okay, great work. Great work. Now, once we have that, now we have this option called section. What is a section? For example, this information from here to here is personal information. And we want to give it a section called personal information. You can see here from this document, from this Google document, we had here Google document. From when we got it, you can see section 1, this participant information, program content. So those are what we call sections. So you can just copy this participant information, copy, go to your form. Now to add a section, you need to click on the development above. You see, like for me, I needed to do what? Let me see. I need to click here. I need to click on this to ensure that this is active. Let's say this is active. I'm on this active so that I can be able to insert that section here. That section starts here. So I must go to the top element. Then click on add section like this. And you will see a section has been created here. So this first one is by default, just giving you an intro. So that one is just an intro. Then the form itself now starts here. Now here untitled section is what I will paste my section 1 participant information. And that is that. Once I come from here, that's participant information. Now the question about the feedback starts here. Maybe this can be another section. This can be another section. Program, content, and structure. I can copy this and come here. And now, because I want that to be here, I have to click on this email address and click on this add section. Right? When I click on add section, I can be able now to replace this. Now I have section 2, program, content, structure, and structure. So that's how you create sections. Right? That's how you create sections. Now, the section flow. Let's preview first how the sections look like, and then we will go talk about the section flow. So let me close this, my email, so that I can access this, my preview. So I'll preview this. Now, you will see that once we come and reach to the video, we see a next button. We see a next button. And now, because there is no field here that is required for us to fill, this is just information that we can read to know. When we click on next, it will accept. Because now the form is not published. The form is not published, but it's accepting. for us to proceed. Once we come here, we'll see now section 1. So these sections are the one that now breaks our form into pages. Then now you can provide first name, full name, gender, email, and then you see another section. So we cannot be able to proceed to another section if we have not provided information to this must indicate required questions. You must fill these questions. So let's say I'm Emmanuel, mail, email address, test. So again, if you want to learn more about advanced emails, you can be about advanced forms, you can be able to learn. There's a form is not just creating questions alone. You can do data validations in forms. For example, restricting email addresses. For example, when someone tries to write this, you can restrict it that it must be an email, valid email address, where it must have something like an @Gmail, and then it must have like something like dot, then maybe com or Yahoo or something. So that's those restrictions, we call them regex, regular expressions. So you can also learn about that. That one you can learn while developing a lot of your forms. So there's a lot that you can be able to do. Then you can be able to click on next. When you click on next, now you have entered another section. You see, colleagues have entered another section. Now this is the end section. Great, we are doing well. So we have learned how to add sections to our form. Now, on sections, there is usually a scenario where when someone responds, for example, when someone responds to a form, let me show you a case study of our survey form for Beyond Data. So I'll go to our website. So beyonddata.ict.com. So let's say we go to our courses and say you want to enroll to one of our courses. Maybe the one we're doing is comprehensive digital skills. And let's say you want to do a course on graphic design. So you click on enroll now. So once you click on enroll now, you'll get this information, and you can see here there is a break, meaning that this is a section. Yeah. So full name, you'll provide your full name here. You must provide your full name. So there's no much restrictions. So phone number, let's say you type like that, no much restrictions, but I'll apply those restrictions. So when you click on next, if you are a Kenyan, you can see that the next question is county. If you are not a Kenyan, let's say we go back and click other. When you click next, it will skip the county because you're not coming from Kenya. So when you click on other, it will accept your response to you to proceed. But if we wanted someone to type which country are they coming from, this our other should have been developed right from the form. Where can we be able to update that? Have to come to the edit. Let's say you come to the edit and let's say come here. Now this other could have been this other, not other that is typed. If you add this will allow people to do what they want to do. Now that's what we mean by now you have scenarios where you need to skip some things of some parts of the form. Now that's what we want to learn here so that we can be able to relate. Suppose when someone says that is male, the person should be led to this section. But when someone says that is female, should be led to this other section. Oh, how many sections do we have? Only one. Oh. Anyway, so let's put maybe a section hapa mbele that yenye inatusaidia kucategorize. So let's say we click here, we add another section first, and say we add a question here. Sasa hii question ndio itatusaidia kuenda kwa the next section. Maybe here is maybe determines your next step. Determine your next step. Now here, question. What's the question? The question is, let's say we have a question like section. Go to section. But this is not supposed to, the question is not supposed to be this. This should be automatic. It should not be from the perspective that you are knowing that which section are you going. So let's say when someone says wants to go to program content, and this other person, I think the example I'm using is not good. You should not have a hint of where you are going. Let me say I have something like, you should not have a hint of where you are going. So let this be something like your experience. Do you have any challenges? Let's use that. Do you have any challenges? When someone says yes here, then someone says no. When someone says yes, let this person proceed filling this information. When someone says no, let this person go to submit form. That's what we want. Nice. Now, here, how can we be able to do that? So we need to make this mandatory to everyone to fill. Then what next? Next thing is to click on more options. When you click on more options, you will see an option of go to section based on answer. Go to section based on answer. So I'll click on go to section based on answer, and you will see these two options have popped up. So if someone says yes, let this person continue to the next section. If someone says no, let this person go to submit form. Next section is this, but you can still specify that you want this person to go directly to the next section is section 2 programs. You can also specify like this. Once you have this, let's see it in live form. So let's say now we publish this form. Let's say we publish this form and make it public. And now here is where you can share it. It's now public. How to share? Click on copy link for the respondents. You click on this shorten link so that it can be short. You click on copy. Click on copy, and I can share this in the chat section. So that we will be able to see how it looks like. Yes, Meshach?
How you share? Just if you can go back a little bit.
Yes.
Can you also rename the link?
You cannot rename the link from there, but you can use other external softwares or applications like bit.ly to shorten your link by giving a name to it. But you cannot name a link directly from Google Forms.
Okay.
Now, if you want collaborators to your form, like collaborators are the people who can edit and view responses, you'll click on share here and not this. This one is for people who fill the form. If you want people to collaborate, you can come to share. Come here. This share is where people need to collaborate. Now, here is where you can be able to choose how these people will be collaborating. Do you want these people to be respondents, or which editors do you want? Let's say I have Meshach. Meshach here is a responder. But when I make Meshach an editor, then Meshach will be able to edit this form. So I can send it to Meshach. Meshach will be able to edit this form. There is rain from this side. I don't know if it is altering, but let's just proceed. So I have shared the form with Meshach. When Meshach checks his email, we'll be able to see the form. That's how you can share someone to collaborate. Don't ever do that if you are sharing with people to fill the form. If you want people to fill the form, use this shortcut. If you still want to share with this option, ensure here is responder and not an editor. Then you save. If you want to remove someone, you can also remove this person here. You remove this person from accessing this. Ensure you click done after doing that so that your form can apply your changes. Now, when we open this form now, let's open this link now and see how our form now looks like. Now see our forms, how these forms look like. So this is how our forms look like. We are using this for learning purposes, so you should not worry us a lot. Next is on the filling the questions, so someone can be able to fill anything. And then this is mail, provide the email, and so on. Go to next. You choose now here. Do you have any challenges? When I say no and click next, it will lead me to submit form. But back, suppose I say yes. When I say yes, it leads me to the next sections. It's like, do you consent to proceed with giving us your data? Then you say no. Then we lead you to submit. But if you say yes, then we allow you to fill some other questions. So that's how that tool is very useful. If you've not grasped this, you will grasp by practicing while you will be doing your own assignment. Now, let's now go to responses. Maybe someone you can fill and submit. Fill and submit. Let me say no and submit. Someone can fill and submit, but I want to drop here a question. This question is not good. This question is not good. This, but just fill, yeah, just fill, and we will see all the responses how they come in. No problem. Just fill. Someone should fill this. For me, I skipped that. So once you start receiving responses, you will see here. You will see here summary of the responses, and you will see the distribution in terms of gender, distribution of do you have any challenges. You will know how many people are having that challenge. And then then now this type of questions, you'll know. For me, I did not respond to it, so there's no response yet. You will see that option there. And this is real time. When someone submits this, someone else submits, it will update here automatically that someone has submitted. So I'm just waiting for you guys to submit your feedback there, and then we'll be able to proceed. So these are very interesting things that we needed to learn, not just for the purposes of maybe uh, learning, maybe for the purpose of uh, maybe getting employment, but you can apply these things in your real life. You can apply, you can develop solutions, guys, for businesses. Businesses are looking for skilled people in digital skills so that you can be able to help minimize a lot of paperwork and increase efficiency, improve processes and production, collect feedback, analyze, and so on. So very, very important things to learn. Now, I have not seen your responses. Are you feeling? Yeah, 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 yeah. Meshach, Meshach. Are you feeling? Susan, are you feeling the form?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So once you fill the form, you get your responses, you can copy this chart here by just clicking on copy and paste it in Word document. You can use it to write reports if your data came in clean. If your data came in and is not clean and maybe requires advanced analytics, then that's why we have other courses coming up next week. Not next week, but rather next month. So courses on advanced Excel, will help you know how to analyze your data more further. Courses on SPSS, Power BI, and Python in the July intake. For our case, will be on month 2, so we'll be able to learn how to do further analysis once we have our data in. Once we have our data in. How long does it take? It's taking a lot. So once the data is in, someone will be able to see summary here. If you want to see individual responses, you can click on individual and you will see per person responses in of your questionnaire, of your survey. And if let's say you want,
Emmanuel, it's not giving me an option to maybe fill the form. It wants me to edit the
for
form.
you are an editor, so maybe okay, let me just switch your privileges. For you are an editor, let me make you a respondent and click on save. So just refresh your link. And please use the link that is in the chat section, not the one came to your email. Right. Susie, how far are you, Susie? How far are you?
I'm done.
So that's how the data will come in. So under responses, under summary, you will see the name, the full name. Then you will see the gender distribution. We are all male. Then you will come down to, do you have any challenges? Then you have one person said no, another one said yes, and their percentages. And then now on this other side, Now, which digital program did you attend? So for Meshach, you selected one, but if someone selects multiple, more than two, they'll also show their distribution there. That's why we said their percentages will vary, because some other people will select this and this, another one this and this, another one this, maybe and this again. And so that distribution is not usually equal to 100. And then now, same to that relevancy, and then this one also. But now let's open this data in Google Sheets and see how it looks like. So if you want to open it in Google Sheets, you can create a new spreadsheet. Then you create a new spreadsheet. So you'll open your data in Google in spreadsheet, and you will see your responses the way they come in. So this is how the responses are coming in. This is how the responses are coming in. And so rate the following elements. You'll be able to see rate the following elements. Now, the difference, this one now, the trainer, you rate the trainer. The content, rate the content. The value, rate the value. This is how the responses are being organized. Okay. So when it comes to rate the following elements, uh, the content is there. The trainer is there. Is there a duplicate question? Just following up to see. There is a duplicate question. Duplicate columns found. Yeah, there is a duplicate question. There's a duplicate question I can remember. Yeah, so which digital skills program did you attend? Data analytics and so on. So this is how your data comes in. And now, if you were to do it like Meshach, if Meshach populates again, so what usually happens is you leave this form to be receiving responses from the Google Sheet, from the form. You create a new sheet. This new sheet now is now going to fetch. Maybe you can assign unique IDs to these people. Assign unique IDs to these people. And if these people are limited, for example, these people are coming from, let's say these people are repetitive, make them a drop down. Make them a drop down. Make sure you remember in the previous question you had asked about forms, you make it a drop down if these people are the same people who will be filling. Make them here drop down. And then once you make them a drop down, you can have a column here that does what? That makes a unique ID, because some people might be repeat. Maybe if the names are the same, you can assign them unique IDs, so that now every time when a unique the same person comes in and his data is being fetched this other side, it needs to uniquely identify the person. And then now, if that person matches the existing data, you sum. If that person matches, you sum. So that is how it usually build. So data comes this side, you integrate or link it to the other sheet this side, and then it auto populates all that. So that's how it usually happens. Then now the last things that we cover on the form is on settings. So on settings, the first thing is to make is a quiz. This one now is like you are providing automatic responses, or you can provide answers to your question. You set answers. That is converting your form to be like a quiz. You provide set answers where someone can be able to provide the answers there, and then automatically when someone fills, can get the grades once they are done filling. Next is collect emails. This one now collect email addresses by default. If you enable it, you say verified, then this means it will require every time when someone opens the form, they will need to sign in with their Google account. If you say do not collect, then it will not automatically collect the emails. They will have to fill the emails as a field. You can see there is no automated collected email. We used it as an input in a question, but this one we typed ourselves. But there's a shortcut of adding it as an input here. So you make it a responder input so that it can show up at the top. It usually shows as the first question if you enable that. And you will be told this email is going to be used, a valid email, this will be used For what? For the purposes of collecting your email address. On the settings, that is enabled here. Next, send a copy to the respondent. When a responder fills the form, they can receive a copy here. Here is where, when you switch on, when requested, now when someone enables, there is a button that will show at the end of the submission. Pale, the person will be able to see this to enable to receive the response. Or if you say always, then automatically when someone fills the form, they will automatically get a copy of their response. So I think this can work for you, Meshak, for the record purposes for your people. Next, allow response editing. If you want people to be able to edit their responses once they submit, but this is risky unless the data is not that private. So you can enable that. Next, limit to one response. If we just want one person to respond per email, we enable this. This will be able to use emails as unique responders. Next, upload size. If your space that you have allocated like 1 GB is full, people will not be able to upload documents. It's good or it's advisable to increase this to the maximum size so that they are not limited. For example, if there are files being attached, then your size needs to be very big. Presentation is how do you want your form to look like? Do you want to show a progress bar? For example, when I go into preview mode, you will see a progress bar down here showing that this page, 1 of 4, 1 of what, that is what is called progress bar, is enabled here under presentation. Shuffle questions, this will be like a quiz. This is usually useful with a quiz where you can automatically shuffle the questions for different people. But now for the normal forms, it's not advisable to shuffle forms because it will mix someone. Some questions are coming from different sections, so you can shuffle and mess up everything. Which message should people see once they submit their form is usually edited here. Here is where you can type your message. Thank you for your response. Thank you for responding, for your submission. That's here. You click on save, and that's what will be shown at the end screen. Show links to submit another response. This one you can enable or disable. So if it is only one submission, is good to disable. But if for multiple people, same people should submit again and again, need to ensure that that is enabled. Next thing, if you want your respondents to view the summary of the results, like be able to view that how many people have submitted and so on, you can enable here. Not advisable. Disabling autosave. So if someone now is filling the form, like for example, for our case, we had already started filling the form and maybe we stopped along the way. How can we ensure that the responses that we had started filling are automatically being collected? So that is when you sign in, your responses, you can leave and come back and still you will get your previous responses that you are filling. This one I just added it recently, and this one is validating the email. Let me go to my this one. So yeah, this one is again validating. So let me just disable that setting so that doesn't ask me that. Allow response editing, disabled, not collect. Then I refresh this. This is preview mode, but anyway, no problem. So when I come to this my form and refresh, yes, now I don't have that question. But now because I had already started filling this form, I already filled this form. When this form was already filled and there's no any restrictions to it, and there is an email that's being recorded, it will automatically save my responses. Should automatically save my responses. And then now, once my responses are saved, if I don't want the response to be saved by default, then I can enable this so that it doesn't autosave. So whenever I refresh, I lose everything. So someone will lose their progress. You'll see respondents will lose their progress if their browser is refreshed. Not advisable. So that's how that works. Settings apply to this form and new forms. These are the other settings, so they're just the same thing. Default settings. That's how Google Form works. So I tend to pause there and invite all kind of questions on Google Forms, and then we'll call it a class. And then I'll assign you an assignment for you to work on, an assignment for you to work on and submit for Google Forms. Assignment is here. So it's something that is already there. So let me just put this in the chat section. I think I'll put this just after this session. So Meshach, do you have a question?
I have many questions.
Yes, please.
Okay, I said that I enrolled for this course to help me maneuver and also upgrade my work.
Yes.
So I normally do a lot of trainings and also run some businesses.
Yes.
So maybe I wanted to upgrade everything. So I had a training that I was carrying out
Yes.
for some youth. So we started from the point of registration.
Mm.
I created a Google form just like this
Mm.
to collect their data during the registration.
Mm.
Then after that, we started our classes. So we had like after class we have a attendance sheet
Mm.
that we were signing after every class.
Yes.
Then after that, they sat for the exams. Exams were marked automatically. Then the results were out.
Mm.
So I wanted like to give a digital report to
Mm.
the donor who supported this course.
Yes.
So from the point of these are the students that enrolled for this course.
Yeah.
These were the attendance.
Yes.
These are the people who did exams. These are
Mm.
the result, and these are now the people who are going now to graduate.
Yes.
That is question one. Then question two
Yes.
is now the I have two businesses that I'm running.
So wait
One
first.
is now the weekly
Wait,
waste
wait
collection.
first,
Okay,
Meshach.
okay,
Yes, your first question. You have just stated the report. So what's the question?
okay.
The question is the first question now. I have already understood the scope. Hello? Meshach, are you there?
Sorry, Emmanuel, I'm there. I muted my mic. So I'm
Yes.
saying,
Yes.
so how now do I present the result, the data to the donor?
Yes.
That these are the number of the students that enroll for this course. These are the attendance.
Mm.
These are the people who do the exams. These are the results for the exams, and now this is the final people for the graduation, and these are the people who graduated.
Yes. So
Yeah.
for that purpose, you need
Mhm.
to have the
Kweli nimetoka
names
class nakupigia.
of all those people
Mhm.
that had enrolled in the course. You need to know
Mhm.
their age brackets. You need to distribute them in terms of age.
Yeah.
Like how many people enrolled in this course.
Okay.
If there are 50, you need to write 50 people enrolled in the course. The distribution of them. So how are they distributed? How many male do you have in that group? How many female do you have? How many are of age maybe less than 18 years? How many are 18 to 24? How many are 25 to 35? And how many are above 35 if you happen to have? Then,
Okay.
from there now, if they are coming from different regions, maybe different villages
Different words. Yeah.
or different wards,
Yes.
you need to state how many are
Yeah.
from this ward, how many are from this ward, and there is where data visualization comes in, where you can be able to design some charts showing that this. So for example, if you already have data and it's coming in, now Google Sheet can be able to tell you, for example, if I come here and say male, and say maybe male out of 50, male were 30, and female were 20, right? So once I know
Yeah.
this, I highlight like this, I go here to this insert chart. So I'll click on insert chart here, and once I have insert chart here, I will see something like this. So I can customize this thing the way I want in terms of colors that I want in the background, if it needs to remain like that, and maybe the font colors need to be very bright colors, and so on. Chart style, this is pie chart. Maybe you want some donut in the chart. The donut is the whole. You need something like that. So this is now designing your chart the way you want. Some border colors. So that's how you can use now data visualization. Now the charts. This one you will still cover it in Excel, because Excel produces more better charts than the Google Sheets. That's why we did not take our time to cover it, because we will cover it in Excel. And then now here you can put title, maybe gender distribution. Gender distribution. You see, it will automatically populate there, and you can now size it to the center, make it bold, and change the text font color to be dark. And that's, you can write what you want here the way you want. You have no restrictions. You can write anything that you want there. You can minimize the font. You can do everything. Then this now is what you will require. You will require this to now maybe a Google document or a Word document. So you just copy. Once you have this chart, you will just copy it and go to a Word document. Let's say like the one we had here. You go to the document where you are talking about gender distribution. You need visuals, and unlink so that it doesn't update once you delete. So you'll have something like this. But Google Sheet, Excel provides better visual than the Google Sheet. But this is how you can do now. So you'll do this
Okay.
again. Do that for every word. How many are from this word? How many are from this word? And then now, when you are narrating your report, you need to put some visuals like this. Yes. So that's how you are going to approach and write in Word. But if you know how to design, you can use Canva. We have a Canva class, but if you want to more advanced visuals, you can advanced like graphic design, you can enroll for that. But if not, you can just use the normal Word document, Google Drive, Google Sheet, or Google document, or the Word. So that's how you can
Okay.
approach Meshach. That is that okay?
That's okay. So
Yes.
I'm supposed to give this report the end of this month.
Yes.
So I think this class is coming at the right time. So I'll look for you.
Okay.
I'll be reaching out so in case of any I
So
need some help so
yes,
that you
yes.
help me work on it.
So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Another question you had?
Oh, okay, another question was now in my business.
Yes.
How now to track our weekly waste collection?
Yes.
As I was saying, we have people that are going on the field
Yes.
to now work. We have developed the same Google form
Mm.
to help us track the number of collection, the people that their waste have been collected, the amount
Yes.
collected,
Yeah.
and maybe the comment that they are coming now from the field.
Yes.
So before we used to collect it on a daily basis. Before now introducing the drop,
Yes.
the
Yes.
drop.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is now the problem is now how we do we now accumulate so that to Jewel last week
Mm.
to collect this amount of waste.
Mm.
Leo wakienda, the next week wakienda, sasa vimetoka from that kakuja wali collect 100, sasa tuko kwa ile 150. How do we now go
Yes.
about this?
Okay.
The same applies now the buyback center. For example,
Mm.
tukinunua on a daily basis tunataka penye zinaweza accumulate so that siku tunafanya sales, kama for example jana na leo,
Yes.
mtu uki reach to an recycler mwenye anakuja kufanya off checking, unamwambia I have 1 ton of recyclable materials, na it
Yes,
can also
yes.
reflect from your system. Pia nakusaidia kufanya the calculation na kujua pesa inatumika from your site.
Yeah, so hiyo Meshak, you we can be able to align so that we can be able to support ili uweze kuimplement hiyo, because that one you cannot directly master it from the way we are learning. So you cannot
Okay,
say that you will have the skill now, like you learned
okay,
yesterday or learned 1 week and then now you have mastered that, but we will align with you so that you can implement that urgently to your operations.
thank you very much.
Yeah, so we will align so that you can be able to implement that automation. Sawa?
Okay,
Yes. Any other question?
I'm done. Only those two.
Okay. Yeah, so that's fine. So we'll be able to align so that we can ensure that everything is okay. And so we'll have this assignment shared in the WhatsApp, so you'll be able to work on it and share with me so that I can be able to have a look before the next session on Thursday. So I'll check on our curriculum. Thursday, what are we covering? It should be session week 4, session 1. So most likely we have Google Drive. We have Google Drive. Let me check the apps that we have covered and what we have not covered and what we will not cover and what we will cover. So Gemini, maybe we'll use Gemini in that session. This is a generative AI like the DeepSeek we have seen. So this tools can help you a lot. So we Google Meet, I know the number we understand, but we'll just have a talk about it. It's just straightforward. So we will talk about Google Drive, Map, Google Drive, Map, Google Drive, Map, Google Drive, Map. Yeah, Google Drive. We'll talk about Google Drive, Map, and Google Meet. Google Drive, Map, Google Meet. Yes, Google Map, Drive, Google Meet, Gemini. And then if there will be any other concern on any of these tools, we'll be able to look at. But we are remaining with Google Gemini. We'll use it in the class, Google Meet, Maps, and Drive. Photos, we know Google Photos, just upload photos. So yeah, unless there'll be any concern on the remaining. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining our session today, and we look forward to more learning in the next sessions. Thank you so much for your time and have a good evening.